In 2015, Forbes shared a story about Brian Hayes, a young guy from Flint, Texas. He's the kind of person who started his own food delivery business. But that's not the only interesting thing about him. What's really cool is how he managed to boost his credit score from a pretty sad 550 to a whopping 760. So Brian was studying industrial technology at the University of Texas at Tyler and working a new job at the same time. It was a busy life. Then, during one Christmas season, he made a mistake many of us could see ourselves making. He used his credit card to buy gifts but forgot to pay it off. We're talking about $1,000 just sitting there for 4 months. When Brian tried to buy a car in 2012, he got a nasty shock. His credit score had tanked to 550. It was so bad he couldn't get the loan without someone else signing it, and even then, it would have cost too much. It was a real wake-up call for him. Realizing he needed to fix his credit score, Brian and his girlfriend, Tara, took a hard look at their finances. They found out they were in debt for $40,000. It's like realizing you've been walking around with a backpack full of rocks. Here's where the credit score hacks come into play. Brian and Tara made a plan to boost their FICO score the smart way. And in a short period of time, Brian went from forgetting to pay his credit card to becoming a pro at managing his money and rose his credit score to 760. Through this story, we're going to learn all about how to smartly boost your FICO score, just like Brian did. It's like turning a bad recipe into a delicious meal. Brian's journey shows us that even if you mess up, you can turn things around with some smart moves. So if you're in a spot where your credit score isn't where you want it to be, stick around. Brian's story is not just inspiring, it's full of practical tips that can help you get your finances back on track. And who knows, maybe you'll be the next success story. So subscribe to the channel and let's get started. Well, after hearing about Brian's journey, you might be wondering, what's the next step to boosting my FICO score the smart way? Well, one trick is all about how you handle your credit card balances. This is a real game changer, so listen up. Think of your credit card limit as a pie. The slice of the pie you're actually eating, or in this case, the part of your limit you're using is called your credit utilization. Here's a pro tip. Try to eat less than 30% of that pie. But honestly, the less pie you eat, the better. The people with the top-notch credit scores, they're nibbling on just a tiny sliver, single digits even. You can keep an eye on how much of your pie you're eating by checking out your credit profile on sites like NerdWallet. They'll show you how much you're using on each card, and the big picture too. But here's where it gets a bit crafty. You want the credit card company to tell the credit bureaus about your smallest slice of pie. That's because the credit bureaus use this info to figure out your score. A simple way to make sure they see your tiniest sliver is to pay off some of that pie before they even get a chance to peek at it. Or you could just keep paying bits of it off all month long so it's always looking slim. The irony? For something as big as your credit score, it's these little bites that make all the difference. This move is super important right up there after making sure you pay on time, which is the golden rule. Now, setting this up doesn't take much. A few reminders on your calendar to check in and pay some of that balance. Or you could even set up alerts from your credit card to nudge you when your pie's getting a bit too large. And how quick does this work? Like rabbit out of a hat quick. As soon as your credit card company reports your smaller slice to the bureaus, your score gets a boost from that leaner utilization. So, keep that pie slice thin and watch your score grow healthier. All right, here's another trick for boosting your FICO score the smart way. Ever thought about just asking for a bigger piece of the pie? I mean, increasing your credit limit. It's like telling your credit card, hey, I'm good for it. Can I get a bit more room to breathe? When your limit goes up, but your spending stays the same, you're basically making your credit utilization look even better. It's a bit like losing weight without having to change your diet. Suddenly, your clothes, or in this case, your finances, just fit better. If you've been earning more money or you've been a credit card user who pays on time, you've got a pretty good chance of getting that limit increased. It's a bit like asking for a raise because you've been doing a great job. But here's the kicker. You've got to have a game plan to not spend more, even though you can. It's like having a bigger plate but not filling it up. If you're the type who sees extra credit and thinks shopping spree, This move might be more temptation than it's worth. This strategy packs a punch in the credit score department because how much of your limit you use is a big deal for your score. And the beauty of it? It doesn't take much effort. Just a call or a message to your credit card issuer asking if they can up your limit without doing a hard check on your credit, which can dip your score a bit. And how quickly can this help your score? Pretty darn quick. As soon as your new higher limit is reported, and provided you haven't gone on a spending spree, your credit utilization ratio drops. It's like magic. Suddenly, you're using a smaller percentage of your credit limit. It's a simple yet effective move, as long as you can resist the temptation to fill up that extra space with more spending. Remember, it's about having more room to maneuver, not more debt to carry. Keep that in mind, and you're on your way to becoming a credit score wizard. Moving on to the next hack, this might sound a bit like cheating, but it's totally legit. Imagine if you could get better at basketball just by hanging out with LeBron James. Well, in the credit world, you can sort of do that. It's called becoming an authorized user on someone else's credit card account. Here's the deal. If you know someone, a family member or a friend who's got their credit game on point, with a high credit limit and a history of always paying on time, you can ask them to add you as an authorized user on their account. The cool part? They don't even need to let you touch the card or even peek at the account number for you to get the credit benefits. Make sure, though, that this account talks to all three of the big credit reporting agencies: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Most credit cards do, but you want to be sure, because this is how you get the full credit boosting effect and boost your FICO score the smart way. This move is especially slick if you're just starting out, or your credit file is so thin it's practically invisible. It's like getting a head start in a race you didn't even know you were running. For those who already have a credit history but maybe tripped up a bit along the way, it's like getting a little help to catch up. Now, don't expect this to be a just add water instant solution. You'll need to have a real talk with the person whose account you're hoping to join. It's a big favor to ask, so you'll need to agree on the details, like whether you'll actually get to use the account or if you'll just be there in name only. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far and want more content like this, comment the word "more" so I know. So, after hitching a ride on someone else's good credit as an authorized user, you might think you've got this whole credit score hack thing down. But here's a truth bomb. None of these clever strategies mean a thing if you're not paying your bills on time. It's like trying to fill a bucket with water when there's a hole in the bottom. No matter how much water or good credit habits you pour in, it's not going to fill up if you keep letting payments slip through the cracks. Late payments are like unwelcome guests at a party. They can hang around on your credit report for 7 long years. If you do end up sending a payment later than 30 days after it's due, don't just sit there feeling sorry for yourself. Get on the phone with your creditor, pay what you owe, and ask nicely if they can forget it ever happened and not tell the credit bureaus. It's a long shot, but worth asking. Either way, catching up on your payments is crucial. Each month you're marked as delinquent, your credit score takes a hit. Here's where the paying bills on time as a credit score hack comes into play. It's pretty straightforward. Your history of paying things on time is the biggest factor in your credit score. It's the foundation of all these credit score boosting strategies. Without it, you're building on shaky ground. Keeping track of payments doesn't have to be a headache. Setting up reminders or even automating your payments to cover the minimum can keep you on track with zero effort. It's like putting your credit score on autopilot. The turnaround time on improving your credit with timely payments varies. It depends on how many payments you've missed and how late they were. But here's the silver lining. The sting of late payments fades with time. By adding positive credit activities to your report, you can help speed up the healing process. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? We talk about all these smart strategies and hacks for boosting your FICO score, but at the end of the day, it comes down to something as simple as paying your bills when they're due. It's not the flashiest credit score hack, but it's the most important. Like making sure you put on your shoes before you leave the house. It's basic, but you're not going to get far without it. So, after mastering timely payments, there's another strategy that fits perfectly into our toolkit of credit score hacks. It's like uncovering hidden treasure on your journey to boosting your FICO score the smart way. This gem: disputing errors on your credit report. Believe it or not, these mistakes can sneakily pull your score down, like a hidden anchor. Imagine you've been sailing smoothly, following all the advice on managing your credit, but your score isn't reflecting your hard work. It could be that errors on your credit report are to blame. They can range from payments marked late when you paid on time, to someone else's credit drama mistakenly listed under your name, or even negative marks that should have vanished with time. This is where the smart hack comes into play. Snag your free credit reports from the big three bureaus Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion via annualcreditreport.com. It's like getting a map where X marks the spot for potential score boosts. Your mission? Scan those reports for inaccuracies and dispute any errors you find. Correcting these mistakes is a powerful move in boosting your FICO score the smart way. It's akin to cleaning up your credit report's reputation, ensuring it accurately reflects your creditworthiness. The impact varies, but squashing a falsely reported missed payment can give your score a significant lift. Granted, embarking on this quest requires a bit of effort. Gathering your reports, identifying the errors, and engaging in the dispute process demands time and patience. It's not as quick as some other hacks, but think of it as investing in your financial credibility. It's preparing the ground for significant milestones, like securing a mortgage with favorable terms. The pace at which this can elevate your score depends on the credit bureau's response times, typically 30 to 45 days for an investigation. While there are services promising quicker fixes, proceeding with caution is wise. After all, ensuring your credit report's accuracy is a task best approached with diligence and care. The irony here is hard to miss. In our quest for quick fixes and immediate gratification, sometimes the most effective credit score hacks, like disputing inaccuracies, require us to slow down and focus on the details. Ensuring your credit report reflects the true story of your financial management isn't just smart. It's crucial for anyone looking to navigate their credit journey successfully. Now, rolling right along our path of credit score hacks, let's tackle a biggie, dealing with collections accounts. It's a bit like finding out you've got a flat tire on your road trip to a better credit score. Not fun, but definitely fixable. When you've got a debt that's gone to collections, it's like having a shadow hanging over you. Paying off that collections account can lift that shadow, not just by removing the risk of getting sued over the debt, but also with a bit of negotiation, potentially getting the collection agency to stop reporting the debt. It's a bit like cleaning up after a party before your parents get home sometimes. If you handle it right, it's like it never happened. And here's a twist. Sometimes you can get collections accounts removed from your credit reports if they're not accurate, or if they're too old to be hanging around on your report. It's like telling a ghost from your past, "Hey, you don't live here anymore." The impact of dealing with collections can vary a lot. A collections account is a big red flag on your credit report, so convincing a collector to stop reporting it is a huge win. But even if the collector keeps reporting the account, all hope is not lost. Depending on which credit score model is being used, the effect varies. For example, the FICO 8 model still frowns upon paid collections, but the newer models and Vantage scores give you a break once they're paid off. It's a bit ironic, isn't it? In the world of credit scores, sometimes paying off your debts is like breaking up with someone, but still having to see them around. It's awkward. Handling collections is a medium-effort task. You've got to check your credit reports, figure out a plan for those collections accounts, and maybe do a bit of negotiation. It's not exactly a walk in the park, but it's worth it. As for how quickly this can work, it's kind of a mixed bag. On credit scores that look the other way when it comes to paid collections, like Vantage Score and the newer FICOs, you could see a benefit as soon as the paid-off status is reported. In other scenarios, like disputing a collection or asking for a goodwill deletion, it might take a bit longer, like waiting for your favorite show to return from hiatus. So, in boosting your FICO score the smart way, dealing with collections is a bit like pulling out the heavy tools. It's not the most enjoyable part of the process, but it's crucial for building a solid foundation. And just think, once you've handled this, you're one step closer to a credit score that's as clean as a whistle, ready to open doors for you that were previously closed. All right then, next credit score hack is the secured credit card. This hack is a cornerstone for anyone starting from scratch or repairing a damaged score. By requiring a cash deposit that typically equals your credit limit. A secured credit card minimizes risk for the lender while offering you a real opportunity to demonstrate financial responsibility. The impact of adopting this strategy can be significant, especially for those new to the credit scene or looking to mend past credit wounds. It's an ideal example of boosting your FICO score the smart way, providing a structured path to establish or rebuild a positive credit history. Each on-time payment is a step forward, gradually building a foundation of trust in your credit report. When it comes to time investment, securing the right card demands a moderate effort. It's essential to choose a card that reports to all 3 major credit bureaus, ensuring your positive payment behavior is recognized across the board. This step is pivotal in our collection of credit score hacks, as visibility with these bureaus amplifies the benefits of your good habits. Progress with a secured credit card unfolds over several months, a testament to the principle that boosting your FICO score the smart way is a marathon, not a sprint. The objective extends beyond merely holding another piece of plastic. It's about crafting a track record of low balances and timely payments that can elevate your credit profile. All right, moving on to another hack, we have something pretty cool. Getting credit for the stuff you're already paying for, like rent and utilities. It's a bit like finding out you've been sitting on a gold mine without even knowing it. So here's the scoop. There are services out there that can take your on-time rent payments and pop them onto your credit reports. It's a game changer for many because, traditionally, paying your rent on time didn't get you any brownie points on your credit score. It's kind of ironic when you think about it. Paying for the roof over your head on time every month is a big deal, but it was like the credit world just shrugged and looked the other way. Now, not all credit score models are on board with this yet. Vantage scores give you a thumbs up for paying rent on time, but FICO 8? Not so much. However, if a future lender decides to take a peek at your full credit reports, those records of timely rent payments will be there, shining like a beacon of responsibility. It's boosting your FICO score the smart way, by simply doing what you're already doing. And then there's Experian Boost, stepping in like a fairy godmother for your credit score. You link your bank accounts to this free service and it trawls through your transactions looking for payments to streaming services, phone, utility bills, and yes, eligible rent payments. You get to pick which payments get added to your Experian credit report. It's like choosing which photos you post on social media. The best ones make it to your profile. The impact of this strategy can vary, but when it comes to effort, it's pretty low maintenance. Once you're set up, there's not much else you need to do. It's the set it and forget it of credit score hacks. As for how quickly this can start to work its magic on your credit score, Experian Boost is like hitting the fast forward button. Instant gratification in the credit world, who would have thought? The rent reporting side of things might take a bit longer to show its full power, especially if you're building up a history from scratch. Some services offer a look back at the last 2 years of payments, giving you an instant credit history boost as if you've discovered a time machine for your credit score. So, after exploring the world of secured credit cards, stepping into the realm of getting credit for rent and utility payments feels like uncovering a hidden pathway to a better credit score. It's turning the mundane paying bills into a strategic move on the chessboard of personal finance. Who knew that paying your rent and utilities on time could be one of the smartest credit score hacks? It flips the script, transforming everyday payments into potential credit score gold. Jumping into our next hack of credit score hacks, let's talk about spicing up your credit mix. It's like when you're cooking and realize that adding just one more ingredient could take your dish from good to gourmet. In the world of credit, mixing it up isn't just about variety for variety's sake. It can actually make your credit score more appetizing to lenders. If your credit history is like a diet consisting solely of potatoes, let's say just credit cards, it might be time to add some greens to the plate, like a loan. A credit builder loan could be your low-cost kale, so to speak. It's crucial, though, to check that any loan you consider chit-chats with all 3 major credit bureaus. You wouldn't want to add a secret ingredient to your dish that nobody will taste, right? On the flip side, if you've been dining on a strict loan diet, throwing a new credit card into the mix could add that missing flavor. Not only does it diversify your credit types, but it could also help lower your overall credit utilization by increasing your total available credit. It's a bit like realizing adding more seats to the table makes the room look bigger. The impact of enriching your credit mix varies. For someone who's been playing a solo game of credit cards, opening a loan account is like joining a bandit adds depth to the performance. And if you're relatively new to the credit scene or have just a few accounts, this move could be your breakout hit. Committing to this strategy requires a medium amount of effort. You'll need to spend some time researching options and applying, kind of like planning a dinner party. And just as you'd consider the cost of ingredients for your meal, weigh the potential interest and fees against the boost you might see in your credit score. It's all about finding that sweet spot where the benefits outweigh the costs. As for how quickly this can work, it's surprisingly swift. Once your new account starts reporting to the bureaus, it can begin to positively impact your score, kind of like how quickly a room brightens up when you light a candle. So, in boosting your FICO score the smart way, adding to your credit mix is a savvy move. It's an ironic twist in the credit game. Sometimes, to strengthen your position, you need to diversify your assets. Just like in a well-rounded diet, variety isn't just the spice of life. It's a recipe for success. To sum up the whole discussion, remember that these strategies are stepping stones towards a healthier financial future. They're about understanding the system and using it to your advantage, whether that's by mixing up your credit types, keeping your balances low, or making sure every payment is on time. Like any recipe for success, it's about the ingredients and how you blend them together. And before you go, here's a little bonus for sticking with us. You can enjoy any audiobook for free by clicking on the link below the video. This video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice. It is important to conduct thorough research and consult with financial professionals before making any investment decisions. The value of investments can fluctuate, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Always assess your risk tolerance and investment goals before allocating your capital. Now, if you want to know how to use the 50, 30, and 20 rule to manage your money better, I recommend you watch this video next. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you found this video informative and exciting. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more wealth-building content. Until next time, happy investing, and may your financial journey be prosperous.